Welcome back to another episode on the MLD Balls page. On today's episode, we're going to be doing the 2024 NBA mock draft. In this episode, this draft is kind of what I would do, kind of what I think is going to happen. It's kind of in between both. We're going to go over it right now. It's going to be the entire first round. So, hey, get belted up. This draft class is going to be really fun. The draft starts in about 3 hours. We're going to see what officially happens. It's gonna be fun to come back and see immediately what I think, because this is my first time doing a mock draft this year, and it's kind of fun just seeing what I'll do. Because kind of like the real teams, they only have one shot at it. I only had one shot at this, so number one, going Donovan Clingan. Donovan Clingan, he fits right in with Atlanta. I think he has a super high floor. I think he is a very skilled passer. I want to start off with that for Donovan Clingan, because that's something I didn't know about him until I actually watched him. Because a lot of time, while I'm listening about players and stuff, and I'm looking at them like their draft reports and stuff, you don't see how good of a passer he is until you watch. I didn't see any notes on that. So I think the 1.5 assists doesn't show how talented he is as a passer. And that also eliminated the question for me of, is he too slow for the game? Because if his mind is there, he's gonna be quick enough. He may not be fast, like, he may not be fast, but he's gonna be quick because he makes quick decisions, good passes, real good skip passes. And he's a dominant rim protector. And the Atlanta Hawks weren't even supposed to be here. If you could get a great lob threat, this guy loves catching lobs. So if you can get a great lob threat for Trae Young, who's probably a top 3 Atlanta Hawk of all time, and you pair him with the best guy who you can, because this guy is a lob threat, a great defender, a great rebounder, and he could fit in the next style of the NBA, because as a big man, he's capable of passing. Like, yeah, come on. A pretty easy pick for an Atlanta Hawks, because they don't have to go for upside. They could just get the guy who we know is good and keep it pushing. Um, Next, cool, kind of took a sneak peek. We got Alex Sarr. He doesn't have any stats coming out of France. He is very much like a Jaren Jackson, Wemby, Chet. He's one of those. I think he's taller than what it says right here. He looks like it, at least. Very long. He's not a good 3-point shooter, but he has the higher upside than Clingan, in my opinion, just because the 3-point shot is something that could happen one day in his career, and he could create on his own if he's capable of doing that, because he's good at going to the rim. Like, he's real good, and he's real athletic, great shot blocker. Rebounding isn't his strong suit, but he's good at it, just because just off the strength, just 6'11", 240, 220 or 230, whatever. Yeah, literally says it right there. I don't know why I'm lying. But yeah, Alex Sarr, think this is a no-brainer pick. Number 3, we got Zachary Richardson. Zachary Richardson he's one of those two-way wings that every NBA team covets. Houston Rockets, rumors are that they're interested in Kevin Durant. Hey, there's another 6'9" wing. Man, this is lying, bro. I don't think Richardson 6'8", but I think he's 6'9". If anything, he might be 6'10", like KD type, KD type of forward build, you know. He's not the scorer of KD. I want to say that if I had to give him a comparison, it would be Paul George. Just a super role player. Don't think he's that great of a shot creator. He's not that great of a passer, but he's good in transition. Pretty athletic, great shooter, and he has real good upside as a defender, because he's not a bad defender as of now, and he has the upside to become a really good defender. So he could be a positive at every single level of the ball, and he's a real good off ball player, so perfect plug and play guy. Alexander Sarr, I want to go back to him. I think he probably is the best defender in the class. Never mind, because Clingan is a dog. Yeah, this class got has some dogs on the defensive side of the ball. I like to say that, and it's nice to see because these guys are all big wings who that's what the NBA covers on the defensive side of the ball. Because if you're big and could defend, you're gonna be hard to move by, and it's gonna be easier for you to protect the rim. Uh, Talking about big guys, Rob Dillingham is the opposite of that. He's going to be one of the smaller players in the NBA, and with that comes probably the fastest player. Like Rob Dillingham is like De'Aaron Fox type of speed, and he plays kind of like De'Aaron, man. Rob Dillingham, he has that De'Aaron Fox, Trey Young, Kyrie Irving, Jordan Clarkson, Jalen Green, he reminds me of those guys, and I think he's gonna have a long career in the NBA because no matter what, he's a six man. Like Rob Dillingham, no matter what, he could create a shot at any time, anywhere, and he's an elite shooter. He's a good passer, very good passer, I might add on. And he's a winning player. He came off Kentucky's bench and he provided this level of production while being one of the best shooters in the country. So Rob Dillingham, he'll come to the Spurs and he'll be a positive player with the ball because I must add on, he's one of the best ball handlers. Like Rob Dillingham is one of the best ball handlers. You've seen highlights of him. You don't even know. Rob Dillingham is one of those guys. You've seen highlights of him, and you don't even know it's him until you know it's him. Rob next to Wemby, that would be a crazy duo, and Wemby fits perfectly next to him because that's somebody who's going to be able to impact the defensive side of the ball. And Rob, that's his weakness, but he plays with effort, and that's something that you love as a teammate. Somebody who plays with effort. He may not be a lockdown defender, but he tries. He tries on defense. That's all that matters. His teammate who came off the bench with him, Reed Shepherd, even he's a better spot up shooter, but he's not creating. When you're creating off the dribble threes, Rob is different from threes and mid range. But Reed, he's a great play finisher and very much like a Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet, Drew Holiday, Peyton Pritchard, more like Peyton Pritchard with some defense, So like his defense isn't to the level as a Drew Holiday just because of off the strength. He's a small. He's 6'1", like 180, but he's very smart. He's very smart, and he doesn't turn over the ball a lot. And he's a very good playmaker. He isn't the type of player that's gonna wow you. He might not be your number one, but he is a perfect guy who could play alongside your number one, like a Cade Cunningham. Because on this Detroit team, he impacts them instantly because he's, like I said, an elite shooter. So you have Cade Cunningham at the one, you put Reed Shepherd at the two, and that's not a bad backcourt because it's not small. Cade Cunningham is very big, so at the guard position. So you have Cade, Reed, and Asar Thompson. He's a very, very, very good defender, and he can't shoot. So it fits Cade and Asar. So you have a core that you're building around. He also fits Jalen Duren because Jalen Duren needs some spacing. Like this Pistons team needs spacing bad, and he tries on defense. And if you put him next to Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, yeah, he'll pan out pretty good. Matas Buzelis reminds me of like Andre Karolinko if he could knock down some threes. Matas is very versatile, very raw at the moment, and he could replace Miles Bridges, on the Charlotte Hornets. Matas is he's a real nice player, and I think if he could knock down the 3-pointer, that is how far he will go as a player, because he could create on his own. He could get downhill. He could, but if he can make down threes, him going downhill is kind of like Franz is different with it because Franz is just crazy, but Montas is like in that realm of like Franz and Andre Karolinko, which is very good. Um, the Portland Trailblazers, they take a swing at one of the best college players of all time. Why not? This team's bad, and they're gonna no matter what they do right here, they want conflict with somebody. Cause no matter who they take, no matter what, you know, somebody else is gonna lose minutes. So this is a big draft for the Portland Trailblazers because this isn't even the first pick that they got. They got two of them. So two people gonna lose minutes, and this team needs to add talent. And Zach Edey is a nice place to start. DeAndre Ayton, there's no reason for you to be committed to him. And it seems like Robert Williams on the trade block. So, he could, no matter what, have a nice backup, and see where he goes from there. Um, yeah, this guy, he's a nice shooter. He's a nice defender, and if he could pan out and be a small forward for the Spurs, that would be nice. You have a I said this guy because I don't even want to say his name. If you could have a lineup of Dillingham, Vassell, him, I will keep Sohan because the idea of him is that he will become a good 3-point shooter, and then Victor Wembanyama. That defense is nice because this guy's a very versatile defender who can switch. He is viewed as a power forward, but like I said, he's such a versatile defender. I think he could also play small forward, and I like him there even more, honestly, because if he can knock down his threes and be a 6'8" forward, he'll be a big two-way forward, and he can pan out in the league if he can knock down his threes. And I'm gonna say that a lot because that's what the NBA really is now. If you can knock down your threes, that's something a lot of people can't do. So you may find a job in the NBA because Johnny Furphy, one of the best shooters, another guy. If you can knock down your shots, play defense hard because Furphy, he's a decent defender. He plays hard, and on offense, he goes downhill a good amount. Furphy gets to the basket off ball. He's a real good play finisher, and he's not that bad of a passer. He may not be a shooting guard. I look at him as like a small forward shooting guard. I think he's more of that, but hey, he ain't nice role player who can knock down threes at an elite level. He should add some weight, but so said all of these guys. These guys is young, bro. Um, unless you're talking about Dalton Connect, he's on the older side of the draft. He's a lights out shooter, and if you can add that next to Keontae George, who he seems like somebody who they want to keep at the point guard position, and he didn't shoot that well. I do think Keontae is a better shooter than what he showed, but Dalton Connect, he just impacts them immediately by being a positive shooter. And this Jazz team got a lot of good players. They gonna have to make some decisions because Dalton Connect is gonna be another one of those good players. And Jacoby Walter, another one of those guys, elite shooter. You can shoot the ball and you can play defense. You got to roll in the NBA. This class has a lot of guys who could shoot the ball, a lot of guys who could defend, and I think that's a good thing. Like I understand it don't got a Victor Wembanyama, but Victor Wembanyama is Victor Wembanyama. He's not, every draft class. Um, Not every draft class also is this deep. Not every draft class has as many all NBA defenders as this one will have. I guess that will be my hot take for this draft. This draft is gonna have a lot of all NBA defenders, man. A lot of guys could play defense on this draft, and Jacoby Walter is one of those guys, and knockdown shooter. And the great thing about him, he's a knockdown off ball shooter. He doesn't even dribble the ball that much, He already was playing like that in college. And you can put him next to Kobe White and Josh Giddey pretty decently. You have a starting lineup of Alex Caruso got traded for Josh Giddey. But if you have a starting lineup of Kobe White, Jacoby, Giddey, Patrick, you could do anything at center, literally, because that team will have enough spacing and that team will, just be a young team. Like Jacoby Walter fits perfectly on the Chicago Bulls, especially after the Josh Giddey trade. The thing is, are you trying to build a team around Josh Giddey? That's the thing. That's the real question. But at least the Chicago Bulls are blowing it up. Next, we got C Dub. Don't even got to talk about why C Dub is a Thunder. J Dub, that's his big brother, and he is a real good shooter. Um, does kind of get in that rotation of a small forward for the Thunder, which is a good thing because it seems like they're attacking center at free agency. So C Dub is a nice shooter, and he can add on some weight and be probably one of the best players in his draft class. Before the March Madness thing, he was projected to go number one. And if the Thunder could get the guy who was projected to go number one and is the brother of their second best player, or maybe third best player, that would be a pretty cool thing. And he can impact his team because let's talk about the fit too. He's a great defensive player, great shooter. Thunder love that. Okay, Stephon Castle, he dropped in my draft, not gonna lie. But this was the team that offered pick 13 for Alex Caruso. And Stephon Castle, if he can knock down his threes, he could one day be a player like Stephon Castle because he's another one of those guys who is a great defender. Or Stephon Castle could be like a Alex Caruso, is what I mean. Because he is a real good defender, good playmaker, plays hard, but can he knock down his threes? He even has more upside than Alex Caruso. He has more upside, but that's the type of realm of player that he'll be in. And if the Kings could get that at pick 13 and they try to get it for pick 13, that would be cool. It's just, does Stephon Castle fall this far? It's not that easy. Another guy who fell is Ron Holland. The Grizzlies, I said the Grizzlies. Hey, maybe he could go to the Grizzlies. Maybe I just spoke it into existence. But the Blazers come out of this draft class with Zach Edey and Ron Holland. I think that's a real good draft for them, man. They have a lineup of Simons, Scoot, Sharp, Grant, Ayton, and then you'll have Holland, Edey, Chris Murray on the bench. Who they have somebody else on the bench too. That Blazers team is gonna be like the most stacked trash team. Like they're gonna be such a fun 25-win team because they also have Robert Williams. That's who I'm thinking of, and Duper Reef. Man, that team's gonna give out the best 25 wins. Nikola Topic. As a Heat fan, looking back at this pick, I don't know, man. I do really like Kel'el Ware. I do like Devin Carter. I like Jared McCain. I love Nikola Topic. The taking advantage of getting him here because of the knee surgery is a really good thing. But at the same time, he's on his third knee surgery. He's on the third one. But Miami's in a position where they could just, take a project pick. They hit on their last couple picks, and they don't have that much spot on the roster to be given minutes either way. So let the guy who had potential to be the number one overall pick just get healthy. Let him take his time, and he'll fit perfectly on this Miami Heat team because he reminds me a lot of Goran Dragic, Tony Parker. Let me give a couple other comparisons for some players because I haven't been doing that. Jacoby Walter reminds me of what does Jacoby Walter remind me of? Just a 3-and-D2, like a KCP. KCP. Yeah. I love that fit. Yeah. He may not be as good on defense, but like the off-ball shooting and stuff, yeah, perfectly. He could even be better than that. KCP. Who else is like a 6'5" off-ball guard? That's the type of round Jacoby's in. Don't connect, lights out shooter, just lights out shooter. I believe going into the NBA skill wise, he's gonna be real good at least in his year one. At least in year one, maybe over time, teams will learn on defense that he's attackable. But Don't connect. He could come in and be a Duncan Robinson, real good shooter. He could be better on defense than Duncan too. He could be better than defense on Duncan. Johnny Furphy is a two-way. Johnny Furphy has like Paul George. Like I'm not saying he's Paul George, but he is that. He's not as athletic though, but he is pretty athletic. Yeah, like white boy can't jump, but Furphy can sometimes. Zach Edey is a back to the basket big. It's very much like Boban Marjanovic, and like it's like Boban Marjanovic, but like at the same time, I don't know, and that's why it entices me, because Zach Edey is so good, and I don't know what it is. It's like a Boban Marjanovic, and he's just so dominant. Like he's just bigger than everyone. Why am I saying I don't know what it is? Even in the NBA, he's gonna be bigger than everyone still. Like every level of basketball he's been bigger than everyone, and it's not changing. It's not gonna be as big, I understand, but there's still gonna be times throughout the game where the Blazers are gonna face teams, and some teams don't have two centers like DeAndre Ayton and Zach Edey. If a team is running like Aaron Gordon out at center like the Denver Nuggets, and the Blazers could go put Zach Edey to go beat up on him, yeah, come on. Not every team has Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. The team that does have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen doesn't even want it anymore, Not every team has the type of defenses that could guard Zach Edey, because everyone wants to shoot threes. Everyone puts smaller fours. If the Blazers, I'm not saying Zach Edey's the next Hakeem, but like if he could, like he was amazing in college. Like what are we doing? What are we doing? Just saying he's not gonna work in the NBA. At least give him a chance. Y'all saying this draft class is weak, and we have best player in college history. Not really, but one of the best players in college history. Me not gonna show him no love. Taja, another Andre Kirilenko, to be honest. Shawn Marion. Just like I remember somebody else we were at. I compared them to like Shawn Marion. Oh, Matas. Matas has that too. Kirilenko, Shawn Marion. Yeah, that's actually just who it was. Yeah. All right, now we're gonna get back on track. Oh wait, did I do C-Dub? C-Dub reminds me of his brother, honestly. Like maybe that's a lazy comparison, but C-Dub reminds me of his brother. Castle, I said like Caruso, Nickeil Alexander Walker, Shea Alexander Walker. He's a two, like at heart. Those guys are like twos at heart. Devin Carter. Okay, now we're on to Devin Carter. Yes. Now we're back. Now we got another one of those Fred VanVleet, Jrue Holiday, low key Josh Hart in him. Like he has that heart of a Josh Hart, and he just plays hard every single play. And if the Philadelphia 76ers could have somebody who, when Tyrese Maxey is on the bench, just plays hard every single play and plays defense next to Joel Embiid, that's a role that you could play on Philadelphia automatically. Play defense, shoot threes, and play hard. You could play on a Philadelphia team that's trying to contend. Khalil Ware, another guy who his IQ and his decision making, yes, it could be frustrating sometimes, but this skill set of a Miles Turner, of a stretch five is so like valuable in the NBA, man. Brook Lopez is still having a job in the NBA because he could shoot threes at the center position. If Khalil Ware is gonna shoot threes as well as he did, and like his shot blocking is very good, and he could rebound at the center position. If he could shoot at a 34, like league average is 34, 35. If Khalil Ware could shoot 35% or 34% and grab 10 rebounds, he has a job in the NBA for 10 years, And I do think he's capable of that. Khalil Ware is going to go as far as he lets himself go, because he sometimes has poor decisions that he makes, and he could build upon those. He could build upon those, and he stop doing that because he does take some bad shots sometimes. I don't know why, but if he's on the team, if he's on this Lakers team, and they running a lineup of whoever at point guard, I don't CP3 for CP3 boy, they gonna have CP3, Austin Reeves, LeBron, AD, Khalil. He's gonna allow them to go 5 out, or I can't even say 5 out because AD can't shoot, but he's somebody who could bang with AD, you know. No Diddy. Jared McCain could come on the Orlando Magic and be a lights out shooter. Think he's a better backup point guard fit than Markel Fultz. Markel is not a capable shooter, and no matter what, he improves their bench backup point guard spot. He could play in lineups along Jalen Suggs. Also, with Jalen Suggs playing the two, you would have Jared McCain, Suggs, Franz, Paulo, Wendell. Not saying that would be the starting lineup. He'll probably Suggs at the one, and they'll find a shooting guard because the Orlando Magic have a lot of money in free agency, or they could go out for somebody like Anthony Simons. But no matter what they do, Jared McCain will at least be a upgrade from Markel Fultz. Bub Carrington, he could he could come to this team and off the bench. You'll see the upside of him. Let him work off the bench. Let him, no matter what, he gonna be he gonna be one of those guys like a Jordan Clarkson. Be able to create off the bench. Let him see what he's capable of. Because Jordan Clarkson, that skill set, if you could pass the ball really well and play hard on defense, you could become an elite point guard in the NBA like a Kyrie Irving very easily. Because Bub Carrington got a bag, like he's Bagtopia, but can he make? Can he become more than that? He's capable of it. Everyone's capable of it, but will he? Tristan DeSalva, for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they just get a spot up 3-and-D wing. He's like he's like a small forward, perfect for this team. You'd have I don't know what they do with the guard position exactly, but you'd have Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, De Silva, Donovan Mitchell, Garland. That's not bad. But you could also have a better lineup, I think, if you had Max Strus in there. But the Cleveland Cavaliers, we don't know where they're going to go as a team. But one thing that we do know is that they could use a 6'8" wing that could shoot. That's one thing that we know. That's what they've been looking for a long time. 6'8" small forward, they missed that, man. Haven't been showing y'all the draft profile for some of these guys. Jared McCain. Yeah, Where don't know if y'all really care about that, but I can just do it for now. Kyle is a 6'10" forward who could shoot next to Zion. You'd roll him out at center because I don't think he's really 6'10". I feel like he's taller than that when I watched. I'm gonna search it up right now, but he could play alongside Zion Williamson. He could shoot the ball pretty well, and you just roll that. Yeah, he is 7 feet tall. Yeah, so this stuff has been wrong. So whatever heights I've been saying for these people was right. Kyle is 7 feet. So you have a stretch five next to Zion. His defense isn't all that good, but this Pelicans defense is great. And yeah, he's a younger player, so you're gonna have to develop and work with that. Unfortunate, but that's what happened. That's what the draft is. You gotta work with these guys. Yves and Missy. He's like Clint Capella. Gonna just be a lob threat, I almost said 3-and-D. Lob threat and play defense, catch lobs, dunk. Yeah, he's one of those guys who finishes everything because he dunks everything. Kyle, I didn't give a comparison. Yeah, Kyle's one of those like he's those stretch fives who don't provide much on defense, like Ryan Anderson. Nah. He's not the level of shooter of Ryan Anderson. I almost lied. But that type though, I'm trying to think of somebody. Oh, I had a name in my head. Oh, that center who could shoot, Spencer Hawes. And maybe that's a crazy name, and Spencer Hawes ain't a name that people gonna know. Spencer Hawes is a great comparison for Kyle though. That skill set of just shooting, and he could ain't gonna provide much on defense. Spencer, who else is like that? I don't know, but Spencer Hawes. Spencer Hawes was a good name for me, and I'm just gonna have to leave it at that. Pacome, the debt, another one of these French players or France's taking over the league and little by little. Yeah, that Olympic team for France is gonna be crazy. Um, This guy is a real good defender. In the playoffs for his league, he shot amazing, like legit 50, 60% from three. And he seems like he's cool with being a role player, you know? A young guy who's cool with being a role player for a Bucks team. If this guy at 6'7" could if he could shoot the way that he did in that run, all right, let's just add the run he had to the Bucks. You're gonna have Lillard at the one, you're gonna have Pacome at the two. Home is a guy who just shot 50% from the three. So instead of 50%, we're gonna drop it to 40. Okay, we're gonna drop it to 40. Just still very good, real good defender. And he's 6'7". So he provides size next to Dame. He's tall. And then you're gonna have K Mid, Giannis, and Bobby. You know, that is a nice team. I do think the Giannis era of the Bucks is at an era or is at a point where they should have put Giannis at center next to Bobby Portis, but it seems like they're gonna go the route of moving Bobby instead. I don't like that, but I guess that's something else to talk about. But yeah, a lineup of Lillard, Pacome, K Mid, Bobby, and Giannis. That is a very tough lineup with a lot of 3-point shooting and Giannis as a rim protector and Bobby Portis as a rebounder. Bobby Portis and Giannis could both just hold it down at the rim. I understand it's not as good as Brook, but they're adding so much athleticism, so much shooting to this team that it's just it's just worth it at this point because Giannis is basically a center at this point. But I guess I went on to a whole spiel about something else. Something that I'm going to change right here. As soon as I finished the draft, I regretted it. I'm going to change pick 24 to Isaiah Collier. Isaiah Collier to the Knicks is he's just going to come in and be a Thibs guy. And this guy fell so far in the draft. Isaiah Collier at 26 doesn't even look right, man. This draft, people talk about him deep, and then in the mock draft, I'm having Isaiah Collier fall like this. Isaiah Collier could have went to the Raptors, right? Like I looked at him for the Raptors, and yeah, went Bub. Yeah, he could have went to the Heat. Isaiah Collier could have went to a lot of places, man. Could have went to the could even went to the Spurs at 4 type of good, you know, and he's all the way over here at 26. He turned over the ball a little bit. That's the main reason why I kind of like on him. But his athleticism, and if he can knock down the three, he could be a scary thing in the NBA. And if the Knicks could have that on their bench, that's tough. If the Knicks could just, especially the fact that they have no picks in the future, if they could just take the best player available right there at 24, that's just the right thing to do. And then at 25, they're gonna be the team that, hey, Daryl Holmes, we got 2 first-round picks. I promise we're gonna take you with one of them, you know. Um they they don't have a problem with the center position. Not really a problem. They just have it's a good problem to have. They have so many to choose from because after the Mikal Bridges trade, they don't got no picks and no really ways of trading besides Julius Randle, and it doesn't seem like they're interested in that because at this point of the team that's built, Julius Randle fits on them pretty decently, and you could understand why they want to keep him. Well, if they have Brunson, Bridges, OG, Julius, whatever they do at center, and off the bench, you could have Collier and Holmes. Holmes is gonna instantly impact their defense, rebounding, and he's another one of those guys. He gonna be a Thibs guy. He plays hustle. same as Collier, two hustle guys. And then at 26, we're gonna have Keyshawn George. Keyshawn George, it's gonna be now the Wizards' best player available. Keyshawn George stays second first rounder in this draft. So why not? Um, Ryan Dunn to the to the Timberwolves is toxic. Ryan Dunn to the Timberwolves is toxic because this guy on defense is a problem. This guy on defense is a problem. And if he could add anything to his offensive repertoire, oof, oof, oof. But no matter what, the the Timberwolves get an impact player right here if they get Ryan Dunn, no matter what. Immediately impact player. Yeah. Baylor is gonna come to the Nuggets team as a older senior and instantly be a KCP replacement. You know, maybe they could attack someone like Gary Harris, which I think they're gonna do. But they also could get Baylor, who nice bench player at least. The Nuggets need to add depth on their team and just a shooter who's 6'6". That's good enough. Like Jokic could work with that. Jamal Murray could work with that. He's a lights out shooter. He plays hard, and he's an older guy. So like, you have a larger sample size of him being a good shooter. He's been doing this for a while. So Baylor, he might not even be here at pick 28, honestly, because it's not a deep draft, man. Tyler Kolek come to the Utah Jazz and just instantly be a better shooter at the point guard position. You can move Keontae George to the two. He came in as a combo guard and he as a one, he looked very promising, very inefficient. So if he could get somebody who can make the game a little slower for him, as he had a year developing at the point guard position, kind of like what the Spurs were doing with Jeremy Song. If Keontae could be a better playmaker at the shooting guard position now because of that year he had, while you had Tyler and then you had Lowry and them boys, the Jazz is a fun team. What did I do with the Jazz earlier? Because, don't. So, yeah, this Jazz team just got so much better at shooting and playmaking. That's a great thing for that team. And the last pick is Tyler Smith. I don't like the Celtics, so we ain't gonna talk about this too much. Yeah, Tyler Smith. Yeah, unfortunate for you because you're a great player, but you're on the Celtics in this world, and yeah, I don't follow the Celtics. But for anybody who's watching, thank you so much for keeping up with this page. Yeah, if you're listening still, and we're 40 minutes in. I got 20 subscribers. Can you just subscribe, please? I'm begging. Oh my god, I'm begging on the internet again. Let me stop. All right. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a nice day. God bless.